Welcome to Let's Get Metaphysical, the show that stretches you beyond your five senses. When you are looking for your next step on the path into the unseen, we've got you covered. Join epic adventure seekers and level up your game with your host, reality magician Allie Bierman.
Epic adventure seekers, welcome to your guide to demystifying your world. I'm Allie Bierman, and you are joining us for Let's Get Metaphysical, connecting heart and mind. Today we have a very special show edition of the podcast. And you may remember our guest, Mayana Kingery, was one of our very first. She introduced the podcast coming up on 3 years ago. And she was episode 3 of my first 5, who all launched at the same time. So I'm very excited that she's back here today. She's one of my good friends and definitely one of my spiritual teachers for me and to many. But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like life just happens? Doesn't matter what I do. Well, if that's you, I made a gift for you. It'll help you move in a new direction. In fact, it's called Step in a New Direction. It's a quick read, and you'll be able to take power, find your own power to run your life your way. And that link will be in the show notes. And if you've not yet done so, I invite you to visit our show page where you can listen to or watch the episode, and also very easily leave a review, which we really appreciate to get the word out. Now, as I said, Mayana was one of our original guests back in 2021, and she helped launch the podcast. And if you joined us back in the beginning, I recommend going back and catching her episode, and that link will also be in the show notes. One thing I can count on when Mayana is in the house is, and sharing what's new in her world, I guarantee you there'll be lots of smiles, warming your heart and opening your mind. So welcome, my very special friend, to our show.
Oh, thank you, Allie. I'm so glad to be here with you. Thanks for having me on. We always have fun together. I love you.
That we do. I wonder if you would share a couple of things that very few people know about you.
Well, one thing is that interesting to go blank in that moment.
Yeah.
I used to be blank. That's something some people may not know about me, is that my name was blank. And I knew that my job in my life was to fill in the blank. So that's one.
Oh, that's great.
So now in my full name, I have filled in the blank. And my process of life is probably something most people don't know. And that is that I spend time receiving messages from the depths of my inners and on the other side in my inners every day.
That's cool. One thing I didn't used to know about you is you're quite an amazing artist. I wondered if you talk about that beautiful tree that we can see in the background.
Oh, thanks, Allie. So this tree, when we bought this house just about 3 years ago, about the same time you were launching your show, we bought this house. And this room immediately said to me, there has to be a tree on that wall right there. And I'd never done anything like that before. And I just put paint on and looked at what it was doing and how it was coming out and used different shades on a brush all at once. And it made shadows. And it was like, it made itself. It just revealed the tree that wanted to be there.
That's so cool. And I know to see that dragon face is behind you.
Oh, yeah. Listen, right? Right there. Yeah, tickle his chin.
Did you know you were doing that when you painted it, or did you discover that after?
No, it just emerged. It emerged. I saw it as soon as the paint was on those spots together. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten any messages from it?
Actually, it holds me. It like wraps its arms around me and its limbs above me, and it holds me while I'm receiving messages. The inner. So it's like sitting here and the tree's got my back, you know.
Literally, that's so neat.
Love, and it's got my back. Yeah.
Well, I watched your video on TV, and I know you're brilliant and you do all these amazing things. Like, it's always surprising me something new that I didn't know that you were good at. And it was all about being a golden child inside a pink bubble with a blue lining. And I wondered if you'd be able to elaborate on and the link will be in the show notes so people can go watch it. And Mayana did all of that work herself on.
The video itself shows the blooming of our chakras. The story that I got as I went through the experience, which the video tells about, was that we had a virus in humanity on our sacral chakra. It comes through from humans killing other humans. It came from the elemental and the astral realm into humanity when the first human killed the first human, like Cain killed Abel in that story, or whatever story you see that first murder in, that it was a mental virus that entered humanity. And this is the process of reversing, getting the antiviral properties, so all of that violence can leave our minds as a collective, so that our chakras bloom into a blue lotus flower. And the gold go from our sacral chakra, or our solar plexus chakra, goes to the marrow of our bones. And that becomes the golden foundation for our life. Gold in the bone marrow produces stem cells that regenerate our physical bodies. So this is how the energetics, or energy body shift and change or evolution, is affecting our physical bodies. So it produces more stem cells, more potent stem cells, and regenerates what's there. And then the golden child is that whole, it's the whole skeletal being, plus then you put in the fluids and the tissues, and it becomes this whole little baby, this golden child that is growing in humanity. And a golden child is one that always remembers, is only love. There is nothing but love within it. And humanity are becoming this kind of a being. And when you look at the little babies out there today, you can't help but see these little beautiful Buddhas that are being born, or whatever, they're the golden child. They're just pure-hearted and loving and kind. So the golden child in a pink bubble that has a blue lining, the visual of that, imagining yourself that golden baby inside a big pink bubble. The pink bubble is unconditional love, and you could look at it as your egg, the egg of your life, but it's the mother's love. It's that soft, gentle, cotton candy strength. It's really strong. And just inside of that is a blue lining. And blue is the color of integrity and peace. And that's like, the truth and integrity is vital, holding you in, the strength like steel, holding you in that bubble. So that imagining of yourself and your energy field is going to safely carry you to your place of emergence or birthing, or however it emerges in each individual's life. It's going to be different. But just imagining that and watching that video about the change in the chakras, and it's experiential, really feel it and be with that. watch it a couple of times and really feel how you entrain to it. Yeah.
That's so incredible because I listen very intently, and you hit so many things that I study and that I'm aware of, and the whole concept of the golden child. And I'm thinking the Dalai Lama, they go searching because they know there's this special child who's supposed to be the next Dalai Lama. And
Right.
The Blue Integrity, all of my relationship sites, I just went with blue because it felt right. And it's all about trust and integrity, and then seeing all of the light workers, the energy workers, all of the awake, I don't know if that's the right word, people who have reincarnated at this time. I have a saying on one of my walls, an ancient Hopi wise person was basically saying we're the ones that we've been waiting for.
Right. Yes. And we're not waiting anymore. We're here. Quit waiting. We were waiting. We're not waiting anymore.
And it's so amazing because I study ancient philosophy. So I studied the Western philosophy, and I've never ever been able to understand. We have to take more land. We have to subjugate the people that we conquer. And then I just finished studying the Eastern philosophy, which I imagine to be more peaceful. No, it's the same story. So everything that you were saying, all of it fits together. And
Yes.
all that vision that you had is the way, that's what's happening in the world right now.
It is. And there's a lot of things that are dissolving. And I just look at it as compost. Yay, yay. Let's watch it dissolve. Let's watch it fall down. Let's watch these things that are not helpful to the human and all of life on this cellular being of our planet. All of that's not helpful. It needs to compost. And that will feed the new that's growing up, because at the same time, you can see little sprouts of green everywhere and, say, oh, they're building this over there and they're doing that over there. And these people are healing this way and these people are doing that. And we're actually at the point now where those who are growing up are going to be able to be connecting horizontally at the heart level, holding that growth as a foundation, like the mycelium underground, except we're sprouting and we're doing it above ground and holding for the rest of the field to grow.
And I love that you were mentioning that coming from the heart, because that's what I've been teaching, and everybody I read, who I follow, that's what they teach. If you want to change the world, you got to come from your heart energy, and not, if it's coming up here, it just is incongruent with our well-being.
We call ourselves heartists.
Right.
The artists, the art of the heart. We are living. Every thought and feeling impulse comes from the heart to the mind. It doesn't go from the mind to the heart. It's that direction of flow. Andras is all, this is one of his teachings, is it's all about the direction of the flow. And then I put my little twist on it, and I look at it in the magnetic field. It's the polarization of your core. Are you polarized one way or another, or are you neutral? And there is a value to all of it. So it's that energy field that contains it all, and to have all those elements in balance for the human being living in this world that we're in right now, it can be really a challenge. So we have to really move slowly. We have to think slowly. We have to act slowly because of the magnetics that we're working with. Because if we move too fast, they'll stick somewhere they shouldn't,
Yeah, it's so interesting because science is just beginning to catch up, like with everything that you said,
Yeah.
everything that all of us in the spiritual community know.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Dispenza's work is all about this, and he's described as a scientist because he's into all of it. And in studying, when he's doing a meditation for the energy centers in your body, looks pretty clear to me that he's working in the chakras. And
Right.
and the Heart Math Institute, I think they've been around since the 1990s.
Yes.
And they're all about the energy has to come from the heart, that the heart emits, I think it was 5,000 times more messages, heart to brain.
Impulses. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nassim Haramein has shown the physics of it. Science is actually getting there. And I just read today that CERN, the Hadron Collider in CERN, Switzerland, just sent neutrinos that traveled at faster than the speed of light, like a lot faster than the speed of light. Neutrinos over 600-mile space went faster than the speed of light. So that changes all of the science for the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah, I read something similar to that because there are so many of today's scientists are saying, no, Einstein was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Nassim, what he did was he disproved like third grade physics. He's like, you can't build this physics model on something that's wrong. You're teaching it wrong at the very basic level. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we were like in high school and the models we have of atoms.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Texas A&M School of Medicine, every year the dean of medicine would tell the students, at least while we were down there, he would tell the students that graduated, well, unfortunately, 50% of what we taught you is wrong, and we just don't know which 50% that is. You get to practice and find out.
How you move forward if you're going to stay stuck, no matter what your beliefs about anything are. If you're choosing to stay stuck, the world's going to pass you by. Like we're saying, if you believe it, it will work.
Yeah.
But you have to really believe it and not just tell yourself up here you believe it.
It's actually, you have to know it.
Yes.
Know that you know that you know. That can never be taken from you. If you know it, it's not something that will change when you get more information. It might grow, but it's not going to be untrue. A belief can be untrue when you get more information. So knowing is much more valuable.
And that's such a valuable thing that you just said, because when people have disagreements today, and a lot of people believe they have to be right. And then they argue like, it's impossible to change somebody's mind if they have a different belief. So why do you have to be right? And how do you know you're right? You're right for you.
It's a feeling in your heart that helps you sit up straight and feel that centering in your body, and you feel confident, and you have had some kind of experience that brought you to know that information. Because you don't just know it without knowing it. You have to know it completely before you can know it. Does that make sense?
I was talking with my son today, and my daughter-in-law is on jury duty. And I remember when I was called for jury duty, and they asked, would you have a problem of just going with the facts? And I said, well, I'm a metaphysical minister, and I get messages. And if I get messages that have nothing to do with what was presented, I have to go with those messages. So it's what you said. It's what you know. So they dismissed me. Very happy.
Yeah.
I know you have a very special gift for our listeners today. I wonder if you tell them what it is.
Yes. Besides the video that we talked about earlier of the Blue Lotus Chakra Bloom, I also have 5 self-healing, self-embodiment meditations. For embodiment, 1 is self-healing, and it goes through 2 different processes. One process uses octave and tone, and the other process uses breath and intention. And then that's the self-healing. Mm-hmm. There's Be the Bridge, which is an infinite connection, infinity, sideways 8, the infinity signal running between everything in our body that's 2. Everywhere there's 2 things, like 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 2 jaws, everywhere there's 2, getting that infinity flowing horizontally and then vertically with your higher self, and becoming a bridge circuit to stabilize your energy body as we go through the shift of evolution. And then one of the meditations is Kundalini. And a lot of Kundalini, it takes it through the chakra system. This specific one, the way it came to me, took it through the vagus nerve. That was confirmed to me by a medical doctor that was at one of my classes. He said, "Oh, you took that through the vagus nerve," and then it keeps it in the body, keeps the Kundalini energy in the body, and then you can direct it where you need to heal. So you rise it up, you bring it up, you get it merged in the brain, and then you direct it to where your body needs it. And there's a couple more.
It's cool. When I was learning all the stuff I learned, we called the infinity the Tibetan 8. I used it to stop a car from overheating. I used it to heal my infrared massage bed. I run it on my computers, and man, I just put my hand down. I was like, whoa, it's energy pouring out.
I had a friend who had 2 cats that just hated each other. They just fought all the time. And I said, well, do you mind if I try something? She said, no, please do. So I put the infinity around the cats, 1 in each side of it. And I watched to see the energy, what way it was flowing, and felt with it, and was just sitting there with it for a little bit till it kind of mellowed out and was kind of stable. And they never fought again.
Well, that makes sense. I think cats are spiritual anyway, so they pick it up.
Is that we can, and it's not, we can all do things like that.
Yes.
We all have it's just a thought. Some people call it magic or whatever, but it's not. It's just a thought. It's a directed thought into the magnetic field.
People like you and the people I know, I think it's just critically important to get out there to the younger people. I was thinking yesterday about how grateful I am. There was no social media when I was a kid. There was no social media when my kids were kids, because like the teen suicide rate is just, it's soaring, the pressures, and that everything has to be quick, quick, quick. And when I do marketing, they're telling me, you have 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. It's like, that's an insane world. And as you were saying, slowing down, I think you need to slow down everything.
We have to slow our mind. But these kids are born with an electronic field that we weren't born with. And they're going back from that. That's part of the evolution, is they now move faster. And yet, they move faster. They're like, if they go meditate and talk about climbing a mountain and sitting by a river, they're there like that. They don't have to take the journey. They're like, okay, yeah, I got it. They're fast in many ways, and yet sometimes they move very slowly in Earth. And there are distortions in the field that it's up to us who've been doing the work and know how we hold the energy on the planet, not for our own selves and our own little lives, but how we together embody humanity, and everyone who has that loving intention is bound together, holding those who just don't know it yet. Everyone who knows, it's like, oh, we were waiting for you. Oh, you're the one we were waiting for. And, oh, you're the one we were waiting for. And it just keeps bubbling up and growing and strengthening.
Yeah, as you said, it's awareness and conscious awareness, because that's who we are. That's our infinite self that goes on lifetime after lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more people are recognizing it. Rhonda Byrne's one of my favorite metaphysical writers, and her 2021 book was called The Greatest Secret, and that's what it's all about. All these teachers who teach you our awareness. And I found that a little bit of a hard concept to grasp. I think I've got it now. I want to thank you so very, very much for being who you are and continuing to be who you are, because you're amazing on so many levels, and you impact so many lives. And yeah, you do it that way, but you also do it in a quiet way. So your energy goes out more subtly, impacts even more people. And for joining us here today and listening through to the end so that you could pick up some really cool, eye-opening, or maybe it's heart-opening information experience. That's a better word. And I want to remind you to join our Facebook group where you can make friends, ask questions. I put something in there every day. And also join our community. We have a community where when you join that, you'll get to do a live video, just like we're doing here now. And I want to meet you. I want to know who you are and where you're coming from, because all I see are different countries, and I don't know who's in those countries who are listening to us and joining us. Please remember, you can find every episode, and this is going to be episode 104. And you can listen to or watch any episode there, and very easily leave a review, which we super appreciate. We're so grateful that you're here in our community. I want to remind you to enjoy, that's capital I-N, capital J-O-Y, every moment, because the energies that make a difference in the world are love and joy, and it all happens within you. And I look forward to seeing you here next time.
You've been listening to a talk on the wilder side. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Get Metaphysical. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends. Tune in every Monday for more exciting insights and wisdom on life beyond your five senses. Until next time, take a small step in a new direction. Start now.